As promised, while the Senate's in break, we're going to get some reaction to today's presentation. Josh Hawley is Republican Senator from Missouri. He joins us now. We hope you can get some dinner. Senator, thanks for the time. Your thoughts on today's presentation by the prosecution, the House managers?
Well, I really thought that they made a mistake, and it was an interesting choice in highlighting the role of Hunter Biden and Burisma. The House prosecutors spent a good amount of time this afternoon saying how there was absolutely no corruption involved between Hunter Biden and Burisma, that Joe Biden had no conflict of interest when he got the prosecutor with jurisdiction fired who was potentially looking into Hunter Biden and Burisma. So I think that it was a very strange choice on their part, but it really highlighted that so much of the House's case turns on Hunter Biden, Burisma, and saying that there was no corruption there. So here's my bottom line. If we call witnesses, I think the House has made it very clear we're going to have to call Hunter Biden, probably Joe Biden. So
what's your guess? I mean, do you think that you'll lose 4 Republicans? Are you voting for witnesses?
I don't think at this point that there's any need to go beyond the evidentiary record that the House has amassed. We have admitted that into evidence in the Senate. That includes their witness statements, all of their evidence. It's all in evidence before us. But if the Senate does elect to call witnesses and subpoena documents, I'm assembling my own list, and I think we absolutely need to subpoena and ask for Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, the whistleblower, and maybe Adam Schiff.
We've had all kinds of senators reacting from the Senate floor. Chuck Schumer has not missed a camera opportunity, I don't think, and here was his take on yesterday's trial. Take a listen.
People squirm, people look the other way, they don't sit still when they don't want to hear it. But the evidence was so compelling, and Schiff's arguments were so powerful that I looked around several times. Every Republican was looking right at him and listening. So our hope is this will have an effect.
What's your reaction to that?
I'm not so sure that we were witnessing the same event. I think what you saw is a lot of grandstanding, a lot of playing to the camera. I think that you can certainly say that Mr. Schiff is acutely aware of when he's on primetime television. He referenced to being on California TV a couple of times yesterday. It's become something of an open joke among the senators. So I think really at this point, I don't sense them actually trying to convince senators. I think they're playing to their own bases, their own audiences at home. And I think what Mr. Noddler said about the Senate being corrupt, about refusing to call their witnesses would be akin to a treacherous vote against the United States. I think that's the spin. They're headed there. That's going to be the party line, and I predict that they'll soon all be saying that.
Yeah, I mean, you said you clerked for the Chief Justice, and you were surprised by his reaction when he admonished both sides. That was a moment for you?
I was very surprised. I've known the chief for many years. I have never seen him admonish parties from the bench before. I think it's worth emphasizing. He did that of his own accord. I mean, he wasn't asked to do that. He admonished the parties, inserted himself there, which is very unusual in any trial or appellate setting, extremely unusual here. And it was in direct response to Mr. Noddler talking about treachery on the floor of the United States Senate, saying that if senators voted against his amendments, they would be committing an act of treachery against the United States. Now, I don't know if he meant that to accuse us of treason or to accuse us of disloyalty or what it was, but it was deeply inappropriate, and the Chief Justice was right to admonish them.
Senator, we don't get a camera. We don't control the cameras in the trial itself, so we get one shot of the House manager making the case. Paint the picture for us of what you all are doing at your desk. What are you doing? Have you chosen water or milk? What's going on in the Senate chamber at the time that these House managers are making the case?
Well, I think it varies probably member to member. For my part, I have a couple of different notebooks going where I'm keeping track of the manager's arguments. I note down often the time to help me remember later at exactly what time an argument was made. I note down questions that I have as the argument goes on, and then I'm also reading. I've got all of the trial briefs in front of me. I refer to those frequently. I've compiled a timeline of events that I refer back to. So I try to keep all of that material at hand, and it helped me to listen, helped me to process the arguments, and to follow what exactly is going on.
And do you think that this is going to get wrapped up next week?
I don't know. I think it's hard to predict. Obviously, I think there's about 10 more hours of presentation that the House managers have if they want to use it. The president's side is going to have their chance soon, then questions. I think at this point, Brett, it's hard to say.
Senator Josh Hawley, we appreciate your time. Get something to eat.
I'll do it. Thank you.
Okay.